My parents abandoned me when I was a child. Years later, they tried to use my daughter as a weapon to regain their fake audience. So I did something I never thought I would do. I brought their lies to light. My family used to have money, the kind of money that made everything feel easy. My grandparents were old school rich, oil investments, real estate, stocks. My dad grew up thinking that was normal. New cars every year, vacations to Europe, private schools. By the time I was born, a lot of that money was already running thin. But no one told me that. I only figured it out later, when the credit cards started getting declined, when the house started falling apart around us and no one fixed it. My parents weren't the kind of people who learned to scale back. They just pretended the money was still there, kept buying things they couldn't afford, kept hosting parties they couldn't pay for. And they hated anyone who reminded them of reality, like my Uncle Steve. He was Dad's older brother. They used to be close, or so the family photos said. But somewhere in the 90s, Steve cut ties, said he was done living off handouts, done watching Dad piss away the family fortune while pretending he was still some country club prince. I didn't know the details back then. I just knew Steve was the guy no one invited to holidays, the one Dad called a bitter loser. I also knew that when everything fell apart, Steve was the one they called, or more accurately, the one they dumped me on. I was 14, they sat me down at the cracked kitchen table and told me they were starting over, in a new country, in a new life, somewhere warm, somewhere cheap. I wasn't part of the plan. You'll be better off staying here, they said. Steve's got space, that was it. No conversation, no goodbye party, just bags packed and a plane ticket for them, not for me. Steve didn't want me either. He made that clear the second I stepped into his tiny house. I'm not your dad, he said. I'm not gonna pretend this is some Disney movie. You eat what I eat. You pay your own way as soon as you can. I don't do handouts. I learned fast. Paper routes, weekend jobs, fixing cars for neighbors, anything that got me cash. I got good at hiding how broke I was. At school, I kept my head down, wore the same hoodie every day, lied about why I couldn't go to parties. Steve didn't ask questions. He worked construction, came home late, drank his beer, watched his TV, and left me alone. It wasn't love, but it was survival, and honestly, that was more than I expected. The rest of the family, they circled the wagons around my parents, said they were going through a phase, doing what they had to do, said I should be grateful Steve took me in, since he always thought he was better than us. They called me ungrateful, said I should support my parents no matter what. I learned to tune it out, built walls, told myself I'd get out, go to college, make my own life, and never need anyone again. But at night, in that freezing spare room, I still checked my phone, still wondered if they'd call. They didn't. I survived high school on autopilot, got decent grades, nothing spectacular. I wasn't a genius, wasn't a star athlete, just another invisible kid doing what he had to do. I worked nights at a gas station, slept in snatches between classes. Steve didn't care what I did as long as I didn't make trouble. When I finally turned 18, I moved into a campus dorm an hour away. No help, no tearful send-off. I packed a duffel bag and left before Steve got back from work. College wasn't easy, but at least it was mine. I lived off scholarships, student loans, and whatever I could scrape together from part-time jobs. I didn't complain. I didn't have time to. I kept my world small, safe, no space for old ghosts, until one day, out of nowhere, I got a message from Em. It was just a photo, us, at the beach, back when we were kids. No caption. I stared at it for hours before replying. Why now? She answered fast. I miss you. That was it. That broke something in me I didn't know was still breakable. We started texting, then calling. It was awkward at first, like talking to a stranger who spoke the same language but had lived a different life. She was still with them, in some shiny suburb in Arizona. She talked about schools, friends, dance practice, like nothing had happened, like they hadn't left me behind. But under the rehearsed stories, I could hear it, the cracks, the way her voice tightened when she mentioned Mom, the way she never talked about Dad at all. One winter break, she came to visit, first time in 6 years. She looked older, harder, the golden kid act didn't fit anymore. She stayed with me in my shitty off-campus apartment, slept on the couch. We stayed up late, watching old movies, laughing about stuff only we remembered. Then, one night, she said it, quiet, like a confession. They were gonna leave me too, you know. I didn't get it at first. She stared at the floor. They didn't want me, not really. They told me I had to go because they couldn't afford 2 kids, because I was easier to rehome. I begged them to let me stay. They said no. I swallowed hard. Then why did you go with them? She looked at me, tears in her eyes. Because I thought if I stayed, they'd hate me, and I didn't want to be alone. That hit harder than anything she could have said. Because I knew exactly what that felt like. We didn't talk about it again after that. We didn't need to. The wall between us cracked that night. And for the first time since we were kids, I felt like I had a sister again. It wasn't fixed, not yet. But it was a start. The next few years weren't easy, but they were mine. I graduated. No cheering crowds, no parents waving in the stands, just me, my borrowed cap and gown, and a quiet, stubborn kind of pride. I got an internship at a logistics firm downtown, nothing flashy, but it came with a desk, a badge with my name on it, and a paycheck that didn't bounce. For the first time, I had enough to rent a place that didn't smell like mildew. It was small, but it was mine. I didn't have to split rent with 3 strangers. I didn't have to count change for bus fare. I bought a used couch that wasn't covered in stains, stocked my fridge with something other than instant noodles. It felt like a win, and moved to the city, too. She got into a master's program for social work. She said she wanted to help kids like us. I told her she was braver than me. She stayed on my couch for a month while she found her own place. We figured it out, shared takeout, made fun of bad reality TV, got into arguments over the thermostat like we were normal siblings again. It wasn't perfect. There were still landmines we didn't step on, still topics we didn't touch, but we had each other, and that was enough. I started dating a girl from work, Rachel. She was smart, low drama, the kind of person who sent good luck texts before a big meeting and remembered how I took my coffee. She didn't ask about my family. I didn't offer. She met Em after a few months. They hit it off, bonded over bad movies and calling me out on my bullshit. For the first time in a long time, I let myself picture a future. One with people who stuck around because they wanted to, not because they had to. Em and I never talked about our parents. It was easier that way. They were ghosts. They posted their perfect family life online. Vacations, new cars, smiling photos like the past never happened. We ignored it, blocked them on everything, let them play house without us. And for a while, it worked. I stopped expecting the other shoe to drop. I stopped looking over my shoulder. I thought maybe we'd won. Maybe we'd outrun it. Maybe some people really do get to start over clean. I should have known better. Ghosts never stay buried. They found me when I least expected it. I just signed a lease on a better apartment with Rachel. Work was steady. I was up for a promotion. For once, everything felt stable, predictable. I should have known it wouldn't last. The email came late at night. No subject line. Just a few cold sentences. From Mom. Hope you're well. We've hit some financial difficulties and could use a little support. Just a short-term loan for family. No apology, no explanation, like they hadn't ghosted me for over a decade, like they hadn't cut me out of their picture-perfect desert life. I stared at the screen for a long time. I didn't reply that night, or the next. When I finally did, it was 2 lines. No, please don't contact me again. I thought that would be the end of it. I was wrong. A week later, my phone lit up with texts from numbers I didn't recognize. Distant cousins, old family friends, people I hadn't heard from since I was a kid. Hey, Adam, heard you're doing great now. Your parents are struggling. Maybe it's time to step up, don't you think? Family's family. No matter what happened, don't be cruel. They're still your parents. The messages kept coming. Posts started popping up on Facebook, Mom's account, plastered with old photos of me and Em from before everything fell apart. Long captions about forgiving family, letting go of the past, how children sometimes forget the sacrifices parents make. It was all bullshit, and it worked. The sympathy rolled in. People clapped for their courage, their resilience, their version of the story. I wanted to scream. Em called me one night, furious. Did you see the post? The one with your graduation photo? They weren't even there, Adam. I saw it, I said, teeth clenched. They're rewriting history. That's what they do. Em exhaled hard. What do we do? I swallowed the lump in my throat. Nothing. We don't give them what they want. But the anger sat in my chest like a rock. They wanted money. I said no. So now they wanted to shame me into saying yes, to turn me into the villain in their story. I didn't bite, but it burned. God, it burned. They didn't stop at me. When I blocked their numbers, ignored the emails, shut down every door they tried to open, they went for the next obvious target, Em. She called me after the 3rd voicemail from Mom, voice shaking. They're saying I'm poisoning you against them, that I'm the reason you turned your back on them. I heard it in her voice. The old fear, the guilt they'd baked into us since we were kids. They're saying I'm the reason Dad's blood pressure's up, that I'm killing him. I clenched my fists. They're just trying to manipulate you, I know, she snapped. But it still works, Adam. I hate that it still works. I didn't know what to say. She was right. They knew exactly which buttons to push. They always had. For a few weeks, they wore her down. She started second-guessing herself, tiptoeing around the topic, falling into old patterns, until one night, it snapped. They showed up at her apartment, unannounced. Knocked on her door like they still had that right. She called me before answering. I told her not to open. She did anyway. She told me later that it felt like a test, like she had to see if she could face them on her terms. She called me after, voice raw. I told them everything, Adam. I told them I see through them now. I told them I'm not their pawn. I told them to get the hell out and never come back. I sat there in the dark, gripping my phone like it was a lifeline. Good, I said. I'm proud of you. Silence. Then she laughed, bitter and exhausted. You know what Mom said? She said we'd regret this when they're gone, that we'll die bitter and alone, just like Uncle Steve. Let them, I said. They don't get to make the rules anymore. She exhaled. No, they don't. That night, we drafted a post together, not dramatic, not revenge porn, just the facts, what they did, what they tried to do, why we chose to cut them out. We posted it, let the comments roll in. Some were nasty, some were supportive, but we didn't care. We weren't doing it for them, we were doing it for us. After that, the calls stopped, the messages dried up. It was like they'd finally accepted they lost control, or maybe they just found a new audience to play victim to. Either way, we didn't hear from them again, and for the first time in our lives, it felt like we could finally breathe. The years after that were quiet, almost boring, and I was fine with that. Boring was safe. Boring meant no unexpected knocks on the door, no gut-punch emails, no old ghosts clawing their way back into my head. I got promoted, moved into a better apartment with Rachel. We got married, had a daughter. Em was there the whole way. She finished grad school, built a life of her own. But we stayed close, family dinners, holidays. Not because we had to, because we chose to. Sometimes we talked about them, our parents, usually in past tense, like they were already dead. We never looked them up, didn't follow them online, pretended they didn't exist, and most days, it felt like they didn't, until the call. It came out of nowhere, some distant cousin we barely remembered. Hey, Adam, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but your parents aren't doing great, health issues, financial stuff. They asked me to reach out. I let him talk, let him lay on the guilt, the you only get one set of parents speech, the they're still your blood routine. I let him finish, then I said, calmly, like I was reading from a script, tell them I wish them good health, but I'm not interested in reconnecting, not now, not ever. Silence. Then a bitter, cold, man, yeah, I said, maybe, but it's my boundary, and they taught me that sometimes you gotta look out for yourself first. I hung up before he could argue. Em called me that night. They tried me too, she said, same script. What did you say? She snorted, told them to lose my number, told them they made their choice years ago, and I'm finally making mine. We didn't talk about it after that. There was nothing left to say. For once, the ghost stayed dead, and life? It kept moving. My daughter started walking, and became her favorite aunt. We built our own holidays, our own stories, ones that didn't start with pain, ones that didn't end in betrayal. And if sometimes, late at night, I still felt the old ache, still wondered what might have been different if they'd been different, I let the thought pass, like a bad dream, nothing more. I should have known they wouldn't disappear forever, people like them. They always find a new way to push themselves back into the spotlight. This time, it wasn't letters, it wasn't phone calls, it wasn't whispers through family, it was TikTok, Instagram, Facebook Reels. One day, I'm scrolling mindlessly on my lunch break and there it is, a video, grainy, shaky, my parents, older now, faces weathered but still putting on that rehearsed show they always did, sitting at some kitchen table, playing the part of the abandoned, heartbroken parents. The caption? What it's like when your own children cut you off for no reason. I froze, couldn't even breathe. Thousands of likes, hundreds of comments, strangers pouring sympathy into their feed. You're so strong, your kids will regret this. I'm crying, this is my biggest fear as a parent. I watched the whole thing, even though I already knew the script, the soft music, the fake tears, the carefully curated childhood photos flashing on screen, cropped just right so no one would notice the cracks. They told half-truths, painted themselves as martyrs, left out the part where they left me behind at 14, left out the part where they tried to guilt us into paying off their debts, left out the part where they made their choices, and we made ours. I sent the link to M with one line. They're at it again. She called me 30 seconds later. We sat there in silence for a while, just breathing. Then she laughed, a hollow, bitter sound. Of course they are. She said, they couldn't survive without an audience. Let them, I said, and I meant it. I didn't feel the same burning rage I used to, not anymore. Now it just felt sad, pathetic, even, watching them chase strangers for validation because the people who actually knew them saw through their act. Over the next few weeks, more videos popped up, more stories, more curated victimhood. They even started doing live streams, answering questions from internet strangers about how to cope when your children ghost you. I blocked them. Blocked anyone who sent me the links, but still, the notifications leaked through. Distant relatives sent emails. Have you seen what your parents are going through? They're trying, Adam, you should meet them halfway. I didn't respond, neither did M. We didn't owe them explanations anymore. Not to them, not to the family, not to the internet. We'd already told our truth once. We didn't need to tell it again. It didn't make their posts any less infuriating, though. Some nights I caught myself doom-scrolling through their comment sections, wondering how strangers could be so quick to take sides without knowing the whole story. But I always stopped myself. Closed the app, reminded myself that this wasn't my fight anymore. They were performers, playing to a crowd that didn't matter. We weren't in the audience. We weren't even in the building, and they hated that more than anything. We'd walked away. We weren't giving them the satisfaction of seeing us crawl back. Not now, not ever. It should have been just another quiet night. I just put my daughter to bed. Rachel was asleep. That's when M's text popped up. Just a link, and 3 words. They crossed lines. I clicked. It was a live stream. Them, my parents, older, grayer, still clinging to that same pathetic performance. Only this time, they'd gone further. They were showing pictures of my daughter, my baby, her face, her name, on display for their little fan club, captioned with lines like, "Our son won't let us see our only grandchild." My jaw clenched so hard it hurt. I could barely see straight. They'd done a lot of things, but this? This was the line. I typed into the comments, calm, precise, "Hi, I'm the son they're talking about. I'm here. I'm willing to answer your questions directly. You deserve the full story." For a few seconds, nothing happened. Then the chat exploded. People started asking questions. Some accusing, some confused, some angry. My parents froze. They tried to spin it. Said I was unstable, that I was twisting things. But it was too late. The curtain was down. The comments turned. People started connecting dots. The lies didn't hold up under pressure, and just like that, the stream cut off, gone, silence. I wasn't done. I posted a link in the chat. I'll be live here for anyone who wants the truth. I'll answer everything, no filters. And they came, dozens, then hundreds. I sat there for hours, answering every question, calm, no rage, just the facts. I showed screenshots, emails, documents. I told them how they left me at 14, how they tried to guilt us into paying their debts, how they tried to rewrite the past for likes and sympathy. The chat turned brutal. People who once called them brave now called them frauds. The fake support crumbled in real time. Their army gone by sunrise. Their accounts flooded with backlash. They went dark, deleted posts, blocked comments, like they never existed. M texted me the next morning, "Maybe you went too far?" I thought about it, then I wrote back, "No, I didn't do it for them. I did it for me. I did it for her." I walked into my daughter's room. She was still asleep, soft breaths, tiny fingers curled around her blanket. I whispered, "They don't get to touch us anymore." And that was it. No victory speech, no revenge fantasy. Just, done. This ends with me, my kid. She'll never have to carry their ghosts. I made sure of that. Subscribe, hit the like button, and explore more fascinating stories.